lots of thoughts have been shared about, Square Enix's business and how they go about business and some of the decisions they make as far as like creating video games and narrative choices in the remake trilogy and just, why aren't we getting Chrono Trigger, all this other kind of stuff. And I've been highly critical of them here on this channel as well. But today, I'm showing some love. I'm showing some love today because Square Enix seems to be doing the impossible right now, which is taking the greatest video game ever made, Final Fantasy VII, and what they've been doing with the remake Saga has been nothing short of wild. I'll use the word wild for it because they've managed to make all these changes and show all these harrowing, crazy changes while still keeping the core narrative of Final Fantasy VII intact. I don't know how they're doing it. I really don't. They've taken all of their thoughts and all of their post-game notes and things they wish they could have done and even new ideas that other people bring to the table, and they're transforming it and injecting it into a true remake of Final Fantasy VII, which is absolutely insane. So today, gonna be a little bit of a love letter to what Square Enix is doing right now. What they're doing that I love is they're creating a new legacy for Final Fantasy VII. This is not something I don't think another company or even them would have considered doing 15 to 20 years ago. When you play Final Fantasy VII Remake, you instantly recognize the characters. You know the characters: Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, Barrett, Vincent, even the villains, and then you've got like Cid, your main party members, Yuffie, Bugenhagen, Kate Sith, like all these characters, Rufus Shinra, Sephiroth, and all these different ideals that are in the characterization of how these characters operate and play and how they feel. It does feel like you're just revisiting old friends. But the game is new. What they've done is created this whole new atmosphere around the stakes of the game and the story of the game. But the characters are still intact. They're creating a new legacy for these characters, like generations of people who would have never known these characters, who have never known this story. They would have read about Final Fantasy VII in like some article, like, hey, on this day in 1997, whatever, this game came out, heralded as one of the greatest games of all time. They would have read about it. They would have been familiar with it, but they wouldn't have played it. Let's be real. They would not have played this game. So for them to create this new legacy with a new generation of gamers, a lot of people who are experiencing the Final Fantasy VII story for the first time is their experience with Remake. They're going back and they're playing the OG Final Fantasy VII. To mixed reviews for some of them, which is understandable. Drop them into that game with those graphics. A lot of people are not going to enjoy that, but a lot of people are, and a lot of people are understanding why this game was, and will forever be special to a lot of people, including myself. One of the things this legacy is creating is a new generation of storytellers and creatives. A lot of you all have been sharing with me like these different content creators, their takes, and a lot of you are sharing with me that this game has opened your eyes to your own creativity. Like, it has unlocked your own creativity in your writing and your drawing. That in and of itself is a win. That's what it did for a lot of people when that original game came out. People started drawing these characters. People started writing their own stories, writing their own fan fiction, which became them wanting to be better writers and creating their own stories. That's how these things start. When I say that Final Fantasy VII is one of the greatest games of all time because of all the people that got into game design and all the people that got into creating stories because they played that game, that's part of the legacy. Final Fantasy VII Remake Saga is going to have a similar legacy. And I know a lot of people may not want to hear that because it puts it on par with the old game. Where I'm not in the camp that I'm on separate teams on this. Like, the original game will still always be the greatest game of all time because of its influence. Not just because it's awesome, but because of its influence. It's got its flaws, it's got its problems. It was incomplete in many ways. They had to get it out. It was under the gun. They were grinding to get it done. There were budget issues. The typical gaming industry bullshit that you see today that holds up a lot of games, but it still wound up being the greatest game of all time. Largely in part because of its influence, because of its legacy, the legacy that you see today in the gaming industry. I see a lot of these people that lose their jobs in the gaming industry and go on to create their own video games. Claire Obscure, those people there, like all these other people, you can see Final Fantasy VII's influence everywhere, all over the place, all over the map. So what they've been able to pull off is nothing short of miraculous. Like, here we are, at this point, it's almost a few years since Rebirth came out. We're almost a few years since removed from Rebirth coming out. And we are still talking about the plot elements and everything else as we move in to the year and a half, whatever it's going to be, countdown for the final piece of the game to come out. So for that to be the case, they have done a great job of giving us things to chew on, giving us mysteries in the game, giving us just enough to where we can say, you can have discussions in your chats. I have discussions with you all in the chats all the time, in my comment sections. You give your thoughts on what's going on, wildly different than what I think is going on. But we all have like a take. We all, like, that's incredible. A lot of companies, a lot of writers, a lot of creatives can't pull that off. Like George R.R. Martin couldn't pull this off. He can't even finish his last book, you know? So, I mean, it is hard to do what they're doing story-wise. After Remake, there was a lot of people that jumped off. After Rebirth, there were a lot of people that jumped back on because they introduced this element of mystery, and it's hard to do that with characters that you know and that you love, and you know they have to go to a certain place, and it has to go to a certain way of thinking. It has to go to a certain narrative reach, and a lot of people didn't think that Rebirth was going to stick the landing. I thought Rebirth was going to be great. It wound up being excellent. It wound up being amazing. Rebirth was the best game that came out in 2024. No Astro Bot won GOTY. It won awards show, the big awards show, but, you know, Rebirth got Game of the Year wins all over the board from different publications and stuff like that. It was my GOTY. Nothing else touched it. And part of what makes it really good for me is they're injecting these wild elements into the story. They're injecting these wild elements into, like, whatever is going on with whatever you think is happening, whatever your take or your theory is on what's happening with the different pocket dimensions or the different worlds, the different realities, the different timelines, whatever you want to call it. We're all kind of saying the same thing. Where it's going to lead, I think, is going to be the same place, but maybe it's not. Who knows? That's part of the mystery. At this point, I'm just on the ride. I'm just along for the ride. Take me on a ride, baby. Just take me on a ride, Square Enix. I'm in. I'm all in for the last part of this ride. I'm in. You've got me hook, line, and sinker. I'm currently playing back through Rebirth right now, just to see if there's things that I kind of missed the first time around, and I'm pretty locked in to what I thought everything was happening and everything. So my new playthrough is not much different as far as like how I'm thinking about things. I'm catching little things here and there, but it's not wildly different. But I don't really replay games anymore. That's another thing. I played through Remake like 4 or 5 times just because I was like, God, it's so good. Like, it's so fun to come back and revisit these friends and touch base with all this again, reignite my fandom. And then the fact that I'm playing through Rebirth a second time, you got me again. Like, this is their new legacy. This is Square Enix's new legacy game. It really is. A lot of people have been just gushing over this game, this series of games for so long, me being one of them, of course. I think they're going to stick the landing. I do. And Hamaguchi, what a rock star. Naoki Hamaguchi, the director of Rebirth, directing the 3rd game. What a rock star. Square Enix has a new rock star. Not only that, but they've got a new frontman that can go out. He can talk he is a very likable guy. He's very approachable. You can tell he has a genuine love for what he's doing. He has a genuine love for this story in particular, but he has a genuine love for connecting with fans, and like he understands fans. Like he does. Like that's one of the things that I really love about this guy. He understands fans and where they're coming from. He knows how to talk to us. Square Enix needs more of this guy. Like they need more guys like this. More creators like this. Guy, girl, I don't care who it is. You need more creators like this. Period. Like people love this guy, and you're seeing all these quotes and things coming out from him because they're sending him out to all the press. Oh, they love this guy. Let's send him out. When I saw him in DC last summer, or summer 2024, I saw him in DC at Otakon. He was so approachable. He was such a cool dude. And he was just so kind with his time. And like, this is the guy. This is your guy moving forward. Like, that's it. Speaking with him was amazing. He's a very kind guy. You can hear the passion for it. You can see it on him. Like this is your guy. So what they're doing, they're creating a new legacy for Final Fantasy VII, particularly. Generations of people who wouldn't know these characters of this story, like, and also finding their next set of creators. I'll be interested to see who's working on part 3. Like who they bring in. Some more young blood, some more young ideas, some more people with some nuanced takes on what this should be moving forward. Because you're sitting on gold again. You're sitting on gold again, Square Enix. You did it again. It didn't look like you were going to. It didn't look like you were going to. It looked like this was about to be a mess. It looked like this was about to be a mad, crazy mess. And you're pulling it off. You're pulling it off again. Now let's get that Chrono Trigger remake. Alright? Alright, if you all like that video, loving what Square Enix is doing right now, throw a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. You know the deal. You know what we do around here. And until then, you all have a great day. Be safe, be good to each other, keep rocking. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care of yourselves.